In the quiet where the truth won't sleep, there's a story in every crack it keeps. Pretty little clues in the dark, in the dark. Every case leaves a broken mark. Pretty little clues, don't look away. Truth has a price that it makes you pay.
Hello. Welcome in, everybody. Come on in. Come on in. Water's fine. Hey, Gigi. Hello, Angel Eyes Blue, if you're still here. Come on in. Sit on down. All right. So, let's get myself together here. And we will get started. The first thing that I'm going to do is just read over some of what we're going to be talking about, what's going on, what I found out. Because, believe it or not, Nanos, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, is getting sued again. So we will dive into that. And it is from the ACLU. And for anyone that doesn't know, the ACLU is the American Civil Liberties Union. So they are big on making sure that citizens or non-citizens, people, are being treated fairly. And yeah, so we're going to get into that. But we're going to figure out what is going on. Okay. Hold on. I'm trying to turn my camera on. We did it. Hello. Hello, all you beautiful people. Hello, hello. All right. So the American Civil Liberties Union is seeking documents from the Pima County Sheriff's Department to investigate whether local deputies are illegally collaborating with federal immigration authorities, ICE mainly. Hi, Dee, welcome in. The ACLU's primary concerns and goals for the requested documents include, and we're going to kind of go over some of the responses and things like that, but they originally tried to get documents via FOIA, and basically they were kind of sort of giving them kind of sort of bits and pieces, allegedly, supposedly. Now, we'll give the disclaimer that everything here is for entertainment purposes only. It is my express opinion and the opinion of this channel that is being talked about, and everyone is innocent unless proven otherwise in a court of law. Everyone is presumed innocent unless proven guilty. Anyway, so basically they were allegedly, supposedly only getting bits and pieces, or they weren't getting anything at all. And so they had to bring a lawsuit to make sure that Nanos was compelled to turn over the documents. So that's where this kind of all started. And Alex, shout out to Criminal Network, posted on his X last night different links, and it ended up being this lawsuit. And with what happened to Juice last night, I hope he finds his way in here. I did do a FOIA request for Juice last night. I'm waiting to hear back from them, but I'm working on getting all, the 911 call and all the information regarding the incident last night. If you know, you know. I don't need to go over the whole thing again, but there's some information in here that's very interesting. So I did reach out to him and let him know. So their primary Concerns and goals for the requested documents include determining the extent of cooperation. The ACLU wants radio logs, incident reports, and body camera footage from traffic stops to see exactly how often deputies contact the U.S. Border Patrol or ICE and whether these stops are being improperly extended to wait for federal agents. So basically, from what I read, because I'm telling you, it's 267 pages basically of discovery and exhibits. And I would be lying if I told you that between 10 p.m. last night, working this morning, and now, I have read through all 267 pages. However, we do have some things that we're going to look at that are interesting. So, what I read is basically they must have only a certain amount of time that they are allowed to keep people pulled over without reason, right? So if I get pulled over because I'm speeding, they can keep me there for 15 minutes or so, however long, to do what they need to do, establish what they need to establish, and then let me go. What they're trying to figure out is, was he or the department itself detaining people or keeping them longer than necessary if they knew that they were illegal aliens to wait for ICE or Border Patrol to come and get them. So yeah. Evaluating policy changes. The ACLU is demanding documents because PCSD abruptly stopped following its own policies that required tracking communications with Border Patrol and reportedly edited regulations to remove anti-racial profiling directives. Okay, I'm going to read that again, and this is why it's important what happened last night. It says that the Pima County Sheriff's Department abruptly stopped following its own policies that required tracking communications with Border Patrol and reportedly edited regulations to remove anti-racial profiling directives. Enforcing transparency, the ACLU filed a public records lawsuit arguing that the Sheriff's Department is illegally withholding these documents despite repeated requests, which is necessary to hold local law enforcement accountable to Pima County residents. And me over in Wisconsin, because I just submitted a records request yesterday. All right. The lawsuit filed by the ACLU against Nanos incorporates two distinct levels of legal arguments: statutory public records violation, as in how the department handles the documents, and constitutional violations, how the deputies behave on the street. So, one, the violation of the Arizona public records law is basically the argument that PCSD is in direct violation of the state transparency laws. So, denial of prompt disclosure. Under state law, the public is entitled to the prompt production of public records. The ACLU argues that the PCSD illegally delayed, ignored, or withheld documents for months without a valid statutory reason. Spoliation of policy and records. The ACLU discovered that shortly after they submitted their initial public records request, PCSD abruptly deleted its internal policy requiring deputies to track all communication and requests for assistance with federal immigration authorities. So they discovered that shortly after they submitted their public records request, the Pima County Sheriff's Department abruptly deleted its internal policy requiring deputies to track all communication and requests for assistance with federal immigration authorities. So delete it, right? Stick it in a burn barrel. It reminds me of, like, I don't know, one of those chaotic scenes in Fun with Dick and Jane, where, all of a sudden Jim Carrey goes up to this one floor and they're all shredding documents and they're like, oh my God, we need to hide this. Weird, right? Weird. So Yes. The ACLU argues that erasing these data tracking mechanisms was an illegal attempt to evade statutory public oversight. They are hiding it in an attempt to shield it from the public and the public FOIA request. All right. I know my computer is laggy as hell. Sorry, guys. I'm just gonna turn my camera off. I will maybe I'll turn my phone camera on. All right. Sorry, guys. Just trying to make some eye contact with y'all and um keep reading this, but that's got to be really great for optics. Now I'm on the top. Hi guys. Okay, so they argue that erasing these were an illegal attempt to evade statutory public oversight. Exorbitant fees as the barrier. When PCSD did respond to expanded records requests, they claimed that locating some of these files would be unduly burdensome and demanded exorbitant fees. I think one thing that I did see in reading all of these records that we're gonna, I'm not gonna sit here and read 267 pages to y'all. Okay, I love you. I'd love the watch hours because I'm still not monetized. So I'm just doing this because this is interesting to me. But I'm not gonna sit I'm not gonna sit here and read 267 pages. So we're gonna try and find some of the important stuff. But I did see that for body cam footage, they wanted to charge $690 for the body cam footage, which yeah, that's exorbitant in my opinion. So then the other one is that the other big argument that they're making is Fourth Amendment violations, unreasonable search and seizure. This is the one I think is super important. Juanita, Alex, Juice, pay attention because this overlaps with everything that you guys that are down there on the streets in front of the house that are dealing with these sheriffs might have a claim with. And I mean, it looks like they're already, deep into this lawsuit with Nanos. So it might be worth your while to even reach out to the ACLU and see if you can't work with them and tell them everything that you guys are going through. And maybe they can throw it in. Maybe they'll file another one on your behalf saying the same thing. So anyways, let me get to it. By analyzing the limited incident reports that they did successfully obtain, the ACLU expanded its legal argument to claim that PCSD deputies are actively violating the U.S. Constitution. Unlawful extension of traffic stops. The Fourth Amendment prohibits law enforcement from prolonging a traffic stop beyond the time reasonably needed to address the initial traffic infraction. The ACLU argues that deputies are illegally detaining drivers longer than permitted for the sole purpose of waiting for Border Patrol or ICE to arrive. That part obviously does not relate to Juanita or Alex or Juice. This next part, though. Lack of criminal suspicion. I'm going to say it again. Lack of criminal suspicion. Legal filings highlight instances where deputies admitted individuals were under no criminal suspicion, yet they were still held and handed over to federal agents. Local law enforcement does not have the inherent authority to detain individuals purely for suspected civil immigration violations. Okay, I totally lied. That's not the part I'm talking about either. 14th Amendment. I'm so sorry. It's this part. 14th Amendment violations. The ACLU argues that the department's patterns and recent policy shifts indicate systemic racial discrimination. They argue that the department's patterns and recent policy shifts indicate systemic racial discrimination. Targeting based on race and language. The lawsuit highlights a pattern of unconstitutional coordination that overwhelmingly and disproportionately targets Spanish-speaking individuals who cannot produce immediate U.S. identification. Okay, this next part. Removal of anti-profiling directives. removal of anti-profiling directives. In tandem with deleting the immigration tracking logs, Sheriff Nanos' department edited its official rules to remove a section that explicitly prohibited deputies from using race, color, or national origin to establish reasonable suspicion. The ACLU uses this policy change as a core legal argument, proving the department relaxed its safeguards against unlawful racial profiling. So they have policies in place that everybody, no matter who you are, where you come from, we're all treated the same. Part of the 14th Amendment, that's what they're saying here, is that you cannot racially profile. And they took out any language that says they have to treat people equally. It took out the part where they say we cannot unlawfully racial profile people. Isn't that unreal? That's unreal to me. So that is a huge red flag. So it says Sheriff Nanos and the Pima County Sheriff's Department have countered the ACLU's lawsuit by arguing that the department does not engage in immigration enforcement and that any delays in providing documents stem from severe administrative backlogs rather than intentional concealment. We weren't hiding it on purpose. We were just busy. Sounds like that guy that like ghosted me 10 years ago, right? Like I didn't text you back because I didn't mean to, I got really busy. Okay. So yes, overwhelming records backlog. The PCSD argued that the delay in producing the requested documents was caused by a massive spike in public records requests. The department stated it received over 10,000 broad records requests in a single year, causing a bottleneck that severely slowed down processing times. Vagueness of requests. Representatives for the department indicated that the ACLU's requests were exceptionally broad, requiring massive amounts of data filtering and body cam footage redaction, which takes significant time to process legally. Disputed timeline of the policy changes. So the defense rejects the claim that PCSD deleted its immigration tracking policies to hide misconduct. We didn't delete them because we were hiding anything. It just happened to overlap with that time period where, we needed to update our computer. Windows needed that update. It just happened to align with when you were asking for it. What do you want me to do? The defense, predating the request. The County Records Department and Sheriff Nanos stated that the official policy requiring deputies to track all communication with federal immigration officials actually ended in 2021, years before the ACLU filed its public records requests. That the official policy requiring them to track the communication actually ended in 2021, before they filed their request. It was beforehand. My Lord. Okay, so alternative documentation still exists. The defense notes that eliminating a standalone tracking log does not mean interactions are hidden. They argue that any legitimate interaction between a deputy and a federal law enforcement is still fully documented and searchable via standard incident and case reports. I'm almost done with this part. When questioned about editing out the overcorrection of profiling rules, that's what they're calling it, an overcorrection of profiling rules. When questioned about editing out the policy section that banned deputies from considering race or national origin during stops, Nanos offered a public clarification. Administrative review. Nanos characterized the removal of that specific anti-profiling language as an overcorrection during routine policy formatting and updates. He stated that the department's regulations are are the are under ongoing review to rectify those edits. Well, I'm sorry we took it out. We've just been reviewing it for the last how many years? We're gonna get to it. Just hold on, everybody that is not like white. Just wait over there. We're gonna get to putting that back in there. We're so sorry for the delay. It's just because all these public record requests that we have, it's just taking up a lot of time. And the way that my bank account is set up is I have a checking and a savings, and the money's got to go in my checking and then in my savings. It takes 2 to 3 business days, and the whole thing just got totally out of hand. Like this clown, like seriously, it's an overcorrection, and we're reviewing it. We're gonna put that language back in there. Just hold on a minute, okay? Right? I mean, it's not unconstitutional to take out the fact that we're trying to treat everyone equally. We're just hold that thought. We're gonna get to it. What that what the heck kind of an answer is that? All right, I digress. I'm gonna read it again because it irritates me to my core, but I want to get this point across. He characterized the removal of that specific anti profiling language as an overcorrection during routine policy formatting updates. He states that the department's regulations are under ongoing review to rectify those edits. So we were just kind of trimming the fat. We were chopping down the language, and we thought, this part where we're supposed to be treating people equally, we're just going to take that out. I mean, it's not necessary. It's not necessary. You guys just don't even worry about it. Just don't even worry about it. Public accountability. Nanos defended his deputies by stating the public acts as a check on law enforcement behavior, encouraging anyone who believes that they were unlawfully stopped to report it directly to the department. Criminal focus and blaming national politics. Nanos maintains that his deputies operate lawfully and that the lawsuit is a symptom of a broader political climate. Focus on criminal investigations. In an official response memorandum, the defense emphasized that PCSD's immigration inquiries are strictly limited to active criminal investigations such as drug busts or human smuggling, rather than civil immigration enforcement. And political fallout. Nanos publicly argued that the lawsuit is fueled by a political backlash against federal mass deportation agendas. He claimed that standard, historically uncontroversial partnerships between local deputies and federal agencies for public safety are now unfairly viewed with suspicion by outside advocacy groups. Nothing to see here. You're picking on me, you bullies. You're picking on me. How this is just because I'm in the public and I'm political and I was voted into this office, and DNA is 99.7% accurate, so it's not 100%, but it's pretty close. This guy is such a clown. I cannot even. Okay. So, anyways, while the sheriff continues to defend his department's actions, his legal team has stated that they will continue to cooperate with court orders and fully anticipate that the released records will ultimately vindicate the department and align with his public statements. So, I am seeing a definite pattern in his treatment of individuals. We've already talked about that, which apparently isn't freaking illegal in Pima County because they took the shit out of all of their documents and their policies and their procedures, and they're like, yeah, we don't got to follow that. So technically, I guess he didn't do anything illegal except for remove the policy in the first place. What is that? What, y'all? Okay. It's a pattern. So it's a pattern of lack of accountability. He never ever holds himself accountable for anything that he says or anything that he does. It's always that was taken out of context. That's not what we meant. Not, hey, we made a mistake and we're going to rectify that and take any sort of accountability. He's saying they're just being reviewed and that was just an overcorrection. Pretty huge overcorrection to take out anti-racial profiling statutes and policies and procedures. You clown. Okay. So we're gonna get to some of this. What fix that? What what creepy sound? What are you talking about? Is someone having like hearing a creepy sound? I am literally in my room and I have nothing on. I have no TV on. I don't have anything. So I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, so let me just make sure I'm not missing anything. Hey, Gigi. Hello, D. Angel Eyes. Uh, Lena. You're hearing a scanner voice? What the frick? Okay, hold on. I do have scanners playing on my different lives, but if they are interfering, then I will get them out of here. So let me just give me 1 second, guys. Sorry. It's probably some weirdo hacker. I don't know. Nanos probably just edited out the policy where it said that we can't be creepy and stalk people on the internet. So he could probably do that too. But it probably would just be an overcorrection. So like don't even worry about it. Nothing to see here. I'm working on it. Chill. And if this doesn't fix it, then I don't know what to tell you. Maybe it's your headphones. All right. Is there a bot in my computer? I am so sorry. I hope that you guys could hear everything that I said. I didn't realize that I was talking through my camera or my like phone microphone and not my AirPods. So hope you can hear me okay. Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I just want to I'm just going to cut off these scanners that are live in the background. I mean, what's weird is that I don't even have the audio opened for these, and I did mean to cut them off, so it's all good. It all worked out. So basically, I thought that was very interesting because we're talking about his patterns and we're going to go into some of the documents, not all the documents, because ain't nobody got time for that. That his response to his interrogatories, which is basically discovery with the lawsuit that they filed. What Dark Knight song? Oh, all right. Anybody? Okay, so is it I okay. All right. Okay. I just want to know, is it better? Is it still happening? Can someone give me like can someone let me know? Sorry, I didn't see that before, guys. I'm like literally was trying to. Okay, we're good. Perfect. Yeah, I ended those streams and it could be just my microphone or on my stupid phone, which means I need a new one, right, guys? That means I have permission to go buy a new phone, right? Absolutely. Okay, good. All right. I'm gonna pull up the documents for the response. We have the brief and support because they're going to have an evidentiary hearing, and then there's a complaint for a special injunction. So there's like all sorts of documents that we're going to take a look at. But I'm going to pull up the briefs. I'm going to pull up the briefs first, guys. Briefs. Pull up the briefs. All right. We're getting there. I'm sorry, guys. I had to go in there and close them out, and everything takes up so much damn RAM, damn RAM on my computer. Okay. So let me share my screen and we will get going. And I'm just going to leave my camera off for now because I'm going to have like 12 chins if I don't. So, all right. I'm going to add to stage. And there's so many buttons on this side too. All right. Let me see if I can make this a little bit bigger. Okay. This is the Arizona Superior Court, Pima County, the plaintiff's brief in support of April 3rd, 2026. So this already happened. All right, timeline. They're saying that he continues to violate the public records law. And their conclusion. I'm not reading 18 pages of this. I just can't. So they're submitting this brief in support of its claims for relief against defendant Chris Nanos in his official capacity as sheriff of Pima County, administrative head of Pima County Sheriff's Department. Defendant Nanos has failed to comply with Arizona public records law in two fundamental ways. Firstly, defendant was required to respond promptly to plaintiff's May 14, 2025 public records request. He did not respond in any way that could considered prompt. All right, maybe we need to reread some of our writing before we put it in there. That could considered prompt. Okay, or could be considered prompt. I just want to see if no, there wasn't a date. I'm just wondering if there was a date because when he was saying that they deleted all the communications and that ended in 2021. I'm wondering if he referenced when this overcorrection of the removal of the anti-racial profiling policies were, but it does not say. To the contrary, the defendant assigned plaintiff's request to a technician who went on vacation, took no action until after receiving the plaintiff's demand letter, just briefly skimmed the request, and only provided any responsive records after plaintiff initiated this action. Defendant ultimately took 147 days to provide the current totality of responsive records, which, as he admits, were readily available and took only days to procure. Hmm. Okay. Secondly, and more critically, defendant has contravened the core purpose of the public records law. to allow the public access to official records and other government information so that the public may monitor the performance of government officials and their employees. Defendant publicly maintained a policy of tracking department requests for Federal Immigration Authority assistance or response until May 21st, 2025, yet has provided few responsive documents since mid 2023. Defendant asserts that applying its then existing policy retroactively would be unduly burdensome and instead offers for plaintiff to incur both a cost of production exceeding $10,000 and the cost of sorting incident reports according to policy. Defendant Nanos has good reason to wish away inquiries into PCSD deputy communications with immigration agents. Since the beginning of the second Trump administration, Defendant Nanos has made routine assurances to the public that he does not collaborate with federal immigration officials. Defendant Nanos has doubled down on such claims since the filing of this special action. Sorry, I don't know why I did that. Records obtained through this litigation shows a different reality. PCSD deputies appear to have engaged in unconstitutional coordination with federal immigration employees. Sorry, hold on. Juice texted me. Oh, Juice did that work. Okay. Okay. And it's all good. All right. Um, generally against Spanish speaking individuals who cannot produce US identification but are under no suspicion of criminal wrongdoing. Defendant Nanos claims to maintain no written policies or procedures and provide no training on how PCSD deputies request federal immigration assistance. Notwithstanding, PCSD instead reports detail deputies summoning Border Patrol in such instances as, and this is part of all the documents that, the 267 pages. So if this sums it up, we might not even have to go into all of that. So let's see. A 911 caller observes a group of 25 to 45 Hispanic individuals with foreign accents congregating behind a Dollar General store. A deputy consensually contacts Spanish speaking men on the side of the road. The deputy alerts Border Patrol, believing he cannot detain them longer than 15 minutes, despite admitting the men are under no criminal suspicion. Individuals flee from their vehicle after crashing into a fence. Border Patrol called, quote unquote, due to the possibility of the bailout being undocumented aliens. 5 individuals on construction company property claiming to be looking for work. A private security guard calls both PCSD and Border Patrol upon hearing that Border Patrol will take over an hour to arrive. PCSD deputies offer the men a ride to a Taco Bell. The PCSD deputies then inform Border Patrol to meet them at the Taco Bell and to take the men into federal custody. Yeah, you can't do that. No, you can't do that. Oh, goodness. The tallying of incidents includes prima facie, constitution, yeah, sorry, prima facie, con- constitutional violation ends abruptly in 2024. This is because defendant ceased tracking communications between his deputies and Border Patrol, contrary to his publicly posted policy, which he said or alleges ended in 2021. Okay. After the promptness inquiry, then, plaintiff requests the court order injunctive release by compelling defendant to furnish 2 additional categories of records at no cost to the plaintiff. The first is an updated record of internal communications referencing GO 2025-001 from May 1st, 2025 through July 21st, 2025. The second is a complete library of the 2,158 incident reports between July 1st, 2024 and May 14th, 2025, referencing Border Patrol. Production of both is well supported by existing case law and applicable doctrines. Every time I switch a page, it brings that back up. Step it. Okay. Argument. Defendant violated Arizona public records law in failing to promptly respond to plaintiff's request. A failure to promptly respond to a public records request constitutes a denial under Arizona Public Records Law, CARS, Statute 39, 12101, subsection E. Access to a public record is deemed denied if a custodian fails to promptly respond to a request for production of a public record. Whether a response is prompt depends on the factual circumstances of the request, and the burden is on the government actor, office or agency to establish its responses to requests were prompt. So the burden of proof lies on them. So if I request it and I don't get it, like with the request for juice for the FOIA for last night, if I don't deem that it is prompt, or if I don't get a response, probably obviously it's a Friday, so I probably give them maybe to end of day on Monday before I'm like, hey, it really isn't much data that I'm requesting here. Why are we not getting a response? So it is on them to tell me why they can't do it. It's not on me to be going out and seeking them. So anyway, um, the government must specifically provide a legally sufficient reason why a delayed response should be considered prompt. Sorry, I'm not going to read all of that. Absent such rationale, a delayed response is tantamount to a denial. As a guidepost, the Arizona Court of Appeals has held that records not furnished until 77 days, 53 working days after a request, absent sufficient evidence to justify such an amount of time, cannot be deemed prompt as a matter of law. So basically, they're citing a different case. It's kind of what you have to do in legal writing is you have to say where and when has this happened before, and provide it in the legal arguments. Basically, the higher up in the court system it goes, the better it looks for your argument. So I live in Wisconsin, right? So like I have a district court, then we have, the state Supreme Court. Well, yeah, and then we have I think I'm in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, and then you have like the Supreme Court, right? So there's different levels. So if I can find a case that was, you know, upheld in the Seventh Circuit Court of Appeals, it's going to look better for me to say, hey, all these higher up judges said that 77 days is not prompt. And if that's all I could find is just 77 days, I mean, you got to work with what you got. But it's saying that there are judges who have upheld this standard. So you use in the arguments to basically bolster the confidence in what you're saying, if that makes sense. So here, defendant cannot meet his burden to show a prompt response to plaintiff's request. Defendant offers no legally sufficient rationale for the extensive delays in supplying readily obtainable records. Plaintiff herein provides and stipulates two brief exhibit as the full and complete record of the defendant's production in response to the plaintiff's request. The defendant therefore took the number of days to produce responsive records as follows. 77 days after plaintiff's request, one document of compiled internal PCSD's email, I'm reading too much, PCSD emails referencing Go 2025-001 from January to April 2025, 86 days after the plaintiff's request, two incidents reports involving Border Patrol from 2025, 135 days after the request, 4 spreadsheets of incidents involving Border Patrol contact, 14 internal memos summarizing monthly Border Patrol contact, and 2 public records requests from a reporter regarding GO 2025-001 dated March 27, 2025 to April 30th, 2025. 140 days after the request, 17 incident reports involving Border Patrol 2021 to 2024. 147 days after the request, 4 incident reports involving Border Patrol 2021 to 2024. All right. So the eventual responses fall outside a reasonable interpretation of prompt. Let's just see if we can get to, because I think the thing that we are all more interested in is the the latter is the 14th amendment to the US Constitution, which seems to be violated every time anybody who is of a different race seems to be outside of Nancy Guthrie's house. So let's see. So this is basically, that's all pages about the promptness. Where do we get to? Okay, come on. Does it get? Oh, I hope it does. This- All right. Defendant should be ordered to produce updated records referring to GO 2025-001 after an agency learns that it erroneously responded to a records request. The agency may not justify its failure to provide records by claiming that it no longer has any responsibility to provide them. Again, this is another Phoenix News Time. This is that case that they were citing before. Here, defendant has produced no records from within PCSD's internal communications timeframe. This is important because the defendant first claimed a top-down policy change indicating to the media that he never saw a need to track Border Patrol communications and recognized that the old policy was really a standard operating procedure for our communications section and should never have been in our rules and regulations that dictated actual policy. All right, cool. Uh, uh. All right. Plaintiff initiated its request precisely for the public to understand the veracity of defendant Nanos' claims. The results show a different reality. Let me just make sure it doesn't stop. I just want to make sure that he's not. Okay. I want to make sure it didn't start up there. Appear to have changed in unconstitutional encounters, largely with Spanish speaking individuals who cannot produce U.S. identification but are under no suspicion of criminal wrongdoing. Defendant Nanos claims no written policies or procedures and provide no training on circumstances in which PCSD deputies require federal immigration assistance. Notwithstanding, incident reports detail situations in which deputies admit to summoning immigration agents. So here's where they're actually admitting when they called them. So a 911 caller observes the ladies behind the Dollar General, and they believe it to be a pickup area for people who are not of the United States. And they do say that they contacted Border Patrol. And a deputy consensually contacts a group of Spanish speaking men on the side of the road. The deputy searches their belongings, finding nothing illegal, yet alerts Border Patrol, believing that he cannot hold the individual longer than 15 minutes because they are under no criminal suspicion. Unidentified, what we already went over these. Okay. But don't worry, because they took these guys to Taco Bell for the fourth meal. All right. Come on, I want the 14th Amendment. Unduly burdensome. Minimum cost of $10,790 to obtain the incident reports. Man, I want to see this. Okay, so basically, what they're doing is they are requesting all of the documents be released without costing them almost $11,000. All right, let's go. Let's see what this one is. The complaint for the special injunction. Admitted submitted pursuant to Arizona Supreme Court Rule 38D. I just want to make sure that this isn't the same one. Do. Submitted over 2 months ago in violation of the defense obligations, parties, jurisdiction, and venue. Okay. The Plaintiff ACLU of Arizona is a statewide nonprofit organization with members across Arizona. It is the state affiliate of the National American Civil Liberties Union. ACLU of Arizona is dedicated to protecting the constitutional and statutory rights of all Arizonans. ACLU of Arizona monitors government conduct, provides free legal representation in civil rights and civil liberties cases, educates the public about their rights and civil liberties, and abuses the power and provides analysis to the public of government activities and their civil rights implications. As detailed herein, ACLU of Arizona has sought public records from defendants, including the records of communication with federal immigration authorities. Defendant is named in his official capacity as sheriff and is an officer under ARS statute 39, blah, 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 subsection A1. He's a public body. He's a public body. He's a public body, y'all. And aristocratic. I'm not gonna pronounce it. I have to make a cake. I hope it's a good cake. Is it funfetti? Hi, Stacks. Welcome in. Sorry, I'm only seeing like a few of these because I'm gonna take a little sip of my water here before I can't talk anymore because I tend to lose my voice after like an hour and a half. All right. Hello, Sheila. Okay. Yes, okay. We get the public records request. That's not what I want to hear about. All right. It's in process. Yeah, so they're laying out the timeline. They're saying we reached out and he said we're still working on it. They reached out and this dude was on vacation, blah 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 blah. Here. Further, upon information and belief, PCSD amended the rules and regulations at issue shortly after plaintiff submitted its records request. In contrast with the rules contained in GO 2025-001, PCSD's current rules no longer include definitions of racial or bias-based profiling, no longer expressly prohibit consideration of race, color, or national origin in establishing reasonable suspicion or probable cause, and crucially, no longer require tracking of department requests for federal immigration authority assistance or response. Um, all right. On July 9th, local news outlet Arizona Luminaria published an article confirming the change in rules occurred after PCSD provided Arizona Luminaria monthly synopsis of communications with the U.S. Border Patrol between January 2022 and June 2023. According to the article, Arizona Luminaria asked why PCSD's communication records contain nothing more recent than June 2023, and in response, PCSD revised its rules to no longer require tracking of such communications. Confused, didn't we just read that that ended in 2021? But now they have records to 2023. You know, the truth is only the truth if it does not adjust to fit your narrative. If I tell you something, I can't change it. Like if I say, my birthday is January 15th, and there's a party going on or they're giving away free burgers to somebody who has a birthday in February, doesn't mean I can say, oh, wait. No. My birthday is February 15th. I can't fit what I want to the narrative here. So I cannot adapt. It's like a sliding timeline for this guy. Holy shnikes. All right. Um, yeah, we already know he's a public body. In case you guys didn't get it, he's a public body. Do. All right, let me see if we can get to. All right, that seems to be that. Oh, here it is. All of this. All right. Index of defendants' responsive records. So these are the 267 pages that this dude, and so I don't have to. Let me see if I can. Why can't I open this a different way? Why are you being hot? Why are you being a cootie queen? Who you calling a cootie queen? You lit liquor. You guys remember that commercial? Trident, I think it was. Sorry, I'm just working on getting this open. Well, we'll get it. We'll get it. It'll be okay. Opening in 6, 3, 2, 1, 0. Opening when complete. Nailed it. All right. So this is all of the shenanigans that he responded. The emails, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, we got all the exhibits. So breathe. Why there gotta be so much? Why can't people just tell the truth? I'm just a citizen. I just want the truth. All right. So here is the index of the records that were produced, what the date is, and the file name. So you got Border Patrol incidents, compilation of internal PSCSD emails referencing Go 2025. Border Patrol contact, Border Patrol contact. All right. This, oh my. Uh, that's nice, Chrome. Trying to do something here. No, we gotta go around the horn again. Don't get dizzy. Don't get dizzy. Oh gosh. Okay. So these are the calls. We have report of suspicious vehicle, suspicious yada yada yada. This is 2021, 2022, 2023, and then, 2024, there's one. And that's that. That's just like the call basically of, or like all the calls or the incident records. And you guys cannot even see what I'm seeing. Sorry. Let's get us all on the same wavelength. Come on. Why is it not sharing it? That's funny. I'm like sitting here talking to myself because I kept rotating it and I like clicked one too many times and then I had to go around again. So I'm just over here entertaining myself, I guess. We're getting there. There we go. Welcome back. Okay. So this is about 30 documents. Okay. Communication, commence tracking department request for Border Patrol. So what is this? This is a memorandum from Cecilia Akoa. That's what I'm going to say. Communication section manager via chain of command. Um, okay, so this is, I think, just a summary, and here are all of the incidents that we were just referencing in that previous document. Um, so to recover a stolen vehicle, that was abandoned a few weeks prior. They attempted to claim the vehicle and it was returning as stolen. I asked assistance in documenting the car. So look at all the things. He collected evidence and fingerprints and whatever. And this is the one about the ladies behind the Dollar General store, if anyone wants to hear the story. And what I'll do is I will put a link to all 267 documents for your reading and viewing pleasure after we are done here, because I don't know about y'all, but I don't even want to hear myself talk through 267 pages of documents. And I'm sure a lot of it is just fluff because we know that clearly Nanos has an issue with transparency. So have to imagine most of this was turned. I will scroll back in, but I just don't want to have to keep. So this is the incident where the men were on the side of the road and had the bags, and the guy went through them, and they didn't have anything suspicious, and basically called Border Patrol because he didn't want to wait an hour and he couldn't hold them for an hour. This is the one about the car accident that, they had the guys. This is the one, I think, where they took him to Taco Bell for their fourth meal. All the good things. So this, I don't know if you guys really want to see it, but I want to get to the meat and potatoes of it. So I'm just kind of going over what these are. So these are all the internal communications basically going back and forth. We want the documents. Where are the documents? Do you want this? Well, you asked this. This is too much. Do you want this to narrow the scope? It's a lot of just back and forth that you can imagine, you know, anyone that works in an office, all the correspondence that goes back and forth and whatever. So that's what all that is. All right. I am following up on the records requested after clarifying the timeline. Not really apparent what changes that particular GO incorporated. As you noted, records from 1/21 to 2/27/25 wouldn't fall under compliance with that GO. With that said, sounds like you're able to search for responsive records prior to GO 2025-01. We would like to try that before requesting any further relief from the court specific records. So from the monthly published memorandum, there's a memo. So they're basically just saying this is all the stuff that we want, is basically what they're saying. And we don't want to have to go back to court and ask for more stuff. So I would assume you want to turn this shit over, stuff over. Sorry. This is Dark Knight. ACLU filed it, and these are the documents that were requested of Sheriff Nanos. So basically, these are the responses from Nanos when they were requested, because you don't want to go into discovery. Anybody that can avoid it, it's a pain, and they can basically ask your whole life story if they wanted to, as long as it pertains to whatever they're suing you or arguing with you about. Um, yeah, it's a lot. Mm, my goodness. Okay. Exhibit 7. All right. So these are his answers to the interrogatories. So basically, you have a lawyer and you're in a lawsuit, and basically what you can do is you can file a request for interrogatories. Here are the questions that we want answered. Your attorney's supposed to sit down with you, sits down with you, says, we got to answer these questions for this other party. You answer the questions, you got to file it back into court, submit it, and here we are. So I did color quote the questions and the answers. So purple are the questions, green are the answers, just so for aesthetic purposes, we can all see what we're talking about. So identify the persons responsible for searching for, collecting, redacting, producing, and responding records responsive to plaintiff's May 14, 2025 public records request concerning General Order 2025-001 and its implementation. When the public records request is received, a records technician is assigned and will process the request in the order in which it is received. The technician determines whether the requested records can be collected within the records unit or need to be collected by other units within the department. Once the records are collected, they are forwarded within the unit for authorization and approval for release, and then sent to the legal department for redaction. Once authorized for release and redacted, the records are then sent to the records unit for final processing and released to the requester. My Lanta. All right. Okay. All right, they're just going, here's all the people, and this is our process of how we do a records request. Here's the question number 2. Identify each and all of your policies related to public records request. Updates, changes. Number 3, identify each and all of your policies relating to communication to immigration with each federal agency, included but not limited to ICE, from 1 of 2021 to the present, including any drafts, updates, amendments, changes. So there is all of that. This is more just about their communication with ICE and Border Patrol. And again, for anyone that's coming in late, this was filed from the ACLU. They deal a lot with civil liberties and basically constitution and civil rights violations and things like that. So they're suing Nanos not only because he failed to turn over the records promptly, but also because, they were illegally contacting Border Patrol if they were finding what they deemed to be illegal aliens, or anyone who just couldn't immediately produce documents proving citizenship. So that is part 1 of their claim for the lawsuit. And then the other is that there was a policy that was removed from the department in which it says you can't racially profile. So that language, they're like, that's not important. We're just going to take that out. Yeah, you can't do that. So that's more so what we're interested in. It's just 267 pages of answer. So I'm trying to skim through this as quickly as possible. Like I said, I'm not sitting here and reading 267 pages of all of this for you. As much as I love y'all, I'm not doing it. All right. No documents were intentionally withheld. Plaintiff's request was reasonably interpreted as encompassing records generated because of and from the effective date of General Order 2025-001. All right. All right. These are like affidavits saying that I read it and we think that these are full and correct and we didn't leave anything out this time. Mhm. All right. So this is all about public records requests. If anyone wants to look at them, again, I will put the link in the description. I I'm not I'm not I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna do it. Can't make me. Can't make me. 267 pages is a bit much this early. I agree with you. All right, and these are depositions. And basically, when I read through them, is that basically they're asking about the policies and the procedures for the requests, which I'm not saying because I'm annoyed by it, because it is something that I'm going to have to be probably dealing with them for to get the information for Juice's incident last night. But I want to get to the other thing that is pertinent, in my opinion, because we basically have someone who is leading a department that says, even though it's illegal to contact Border Patrol, just make sure that you guys only detain them for like the 15 minutes that you're allowed to, or the necessary time that you're allowed to, and then just call them and let them know exactly where these people are at. But just don't make it look sus, okay? Just don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious. And they're basically saying that they're violating the 14th Amendment of the Constitution by removing the policy and the procedure in which it states that you cannot racially profile people who are not committing any sort of criminal act. You can't just say, hey, you're sitting here, sir, even though he's not committing a crime, and give him a misdemeanor. Like, you know, there are things that are right in this world and there are things that are wrong in this world. And when you have not only by the sheriff's department, okay, I'm gonna not only by the sheriff's department, but by the neighbors in general, you have a certain person that we all know and have watched and whatever being treated one way by the entire neighborhood and the sheriff's department. And then you have a few different people that are being treated completely differently. Okay. Just from what I see, it's I don't live there. I don't live there. But just from what I see, there's a certain group of individuals that are being targeted by these behaviors, and there are certain people that are not. And it's rather disgusting to me that we're in 2026 and we're dealing with a police department that didn't think it was important to include that you cannot racially profile people. And then they call it an overcorrection. My mm, my lord. So I'm gonna keep trying to look. I'm telling you, I'm annoyed, very annoyed by this. And so I figured I would share it with all of you because basically all this sheriff has had his whole career sounds like it's just been one lawsuit on top of another, that he's a bully and lacks transparency. I mean, we have all seen his lack of transparency in this entire Nancy Guthrie investigation and case, which, whatever, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole. We all, if you know, you know. But he has had such an issue with all of the El Paso issues that he had where he detained someone and like beat them to a bloody pulp. And apparently we're just gonna get a slap on the wrist. I don't know if you guys have you guys seen or do you want to see the documents that had to be supplied by Chris Nanos where it talks about his record from El Paso and his gambling and off-duty activities. It talks about, different things like that. If you guys want, I can pull it up. But it's totally up to you guys. I don't know. I'm like so excited. This is the biggest audience I've ever had. This is great. Thank you guys all for being here for sure. Um, yes, it was the responses to the board about his past and his record and all of that stuff because I don't want to have to keep, I don't know if I'm going to flip through all 267 pages because I don't know where that is. And basically, when we get to it, we're going to see two policies, right? We're going to see one policy that has it there. We're going to see one policy that doesn't have the racial profiling issue addressed in the policies. So I don't know if it's really worth scrolling through 267 pages while you guys are on here. But that's basically what we're going to see. So I don't know. I have to look and see where exactly this is in the process. And because it looks like they just had a hearing, I think on like May 16th. So it does seem like it's, or I think maybe they had a status conference or something like that. Anyway, seems like it's still obviously ongoing. So I'm not an attorney. I don't claim to be an attorney. I was a paralegal for a while. But this is what I'm gathering. So all right. Supervisors. I'm gonna grab that because to me, nothing is more intriguing than digging up someone's dirty history laundry. Well, especially somebody like Nanos, because he just such a wonderful human being, right? I mean, we're just talking about him because he's so wonderful. Yeah, my watch is telling me to stand. I would love to. All right. I'm not going to be able to scroll back up and double check the chat, but if anybody has questions, anything that you want to see, let me know. But I'm going to pull up all of his stuff that he sent or he talks about prior history that the had these laws, right? We the on Aaron Cross and now I have lost. It's just it's unlocked. I don't know why they just want him out. You know how many taxpayer dollars that they're wasting to defend this person in litigation? I mean, I would get out of here. You're a troublemaker. Like, what are you doing? And you would think if you had any sense of dignity, or if you were a semi smart individual, you would leave while the getting's good and you can still get your pension. Because at this point, what you're looking at is being sued, wasting taxpayer dollars and resources. And eventually, they're going to catch you for something and you're going to get the boot, and then you get no pension. Good day, sir. No suit for you. I don't get it. No suit for you. Sauce. What kind of sauce? I put sauce on everything. Nanos do give. Nope. Nanos don't give no. All right. Found it. That's right. No soup for you. Sharing tab. Sharing the tab. Gotta make sure that it. I don't know why it doesn't switch. I know. I'm so excited. I've never had 20 people, 28 people all in the same room before. Feel like I have friends now. Just kidding. But I do appreciate you all being here. I really do. All right. We get it. We got it. We got it. We got it. All right. He's been engaged in his history and yada yada yada. We've all heard basically the responses that were turned in at 4:30 on the last day possible to make them have to reschedule and review his answers, and they had to come back, how many weeks later. And to be honest, I don't think that I have watched a Pima County board meeting since we basically saw that they weren't going to do jack shit about it. I got a potty mouth, but I'm working on it. It's too early for foul language. It's too early for foul language, ladies and gentlemen. I'll talk like a lady today. I'm going to talk like a lady. I'm so dumb. I love it. Okay, so let's say first rule of making a resume. They always tell you don't make it longer than one page. Okay? I think it's like 3 pages. So this is his resume. Um, so we got his birthday. So September 28th. Nobody wish him a happy birthday. Nobody. Nobody. Ha- Have you ever seen a resume that has your marital status and or your religion on it? Has anyone ever said, this is a great idea? I'm going to put that I'm Southern Baptist and I'm divorced. That's going to get me the job for sure. Wait, bet. Gosh. And this wasn't even his resume to El Paso. This was his resume to Pima County. They're like, oh, thank God. We know that he's divorced and he's Southern Baptist. Please come work for us and eventually be our leader. Amen and hallelujah. Hallelujah. Oh my gosh. We hold on. Let's El Paso Police Department Patrol Division, Youth Services Division, Field Training Officer, who was a salesman for the Component Building Corporation. I know I've always wanted that in sheriff, right? You worked in construction? You did sales in construction? Come on. Come on, honey. Come be my sheriff. All right. Awards and commendations. Officer of the Year by El Paso in 1979. In 1980, Officer of the Year for the state of Texas Southwest Region by the Combined Law Enforcement Association of Texas. I received national recognition for professionalism and courageousness displayed in the line of duty by the Fraternal Order of Police. Fraternal. Okay. And in 1982, he won the Texas State Boxing Championships in the featherweight division at the Police Olympics. Oh my land. What's up, my snitches? My little cluties. All right. While performing for the El Paso Police Department, because we got to look at his special achievements, because we can all agree he is one very special man. Very special man. While performing for the El Paso Police Department in the Uniform Patrol Division, I led all other patrolmen on my shift in every statistical category ever kept. I led all other patrolmen on my shift in every statistical category ever kept for numerous years. What are you saying, sir? You led them in statistical categories? How much math are you doing? How much math is the El Paso Police Department doing? They're doing statistics now? Okay. Well, uh, these statistics were kept daily and existed in total number of felony and misdemeanor arrests, total number of subjects and vehicles checked, total number of reports taken, both criminal and traffic, total number of calls made and handled, and even number of field contacts made. That just sounds like counting. I don't know if that's statistics. Um, and if he's qualifying it as statistics, is he saying, okay, let's put all these numbers together? We found these numbers, guys. Let's put them all together. And then let's just take one of them and then divide it by the total number. And that gives us a percentage. And that is the percentage of like the vehicles we checked out of all of these incidents. Statistics, guys, statistics. And we have our statistics lesson. We can go into our science lesson that we received from him the other day. It was very analytical, statistical, and scientifical. I know that's not a word, but I'll say it anyway. Scientifical. Okay. Also helped initiate the opening of the department's first youth service division. Stay away from my children. And on September 29th, 1979, I saved my partner's life while he was being held hostage at gunpoint by a I saved my partner's life while he was being held hostage at gunpoint by a would-be burglar. What is the statistical scientific definition of would-be burglar? Can someone look that up? Let me know. Oxford, Merriam-Webster dictionary, would-be burglar. Thanks. Uh, During my 6.5 year tenure with El Paso Police Department, I also received 30 letters of commendations ranging from such people as the mayor, the chief of police, other police department supervisors, and general public as well. In fact, that many letters in that short of time is like averaging the letter of commendation. In fact, that many letters in that short of time is like averaging a letter of commendation once every 2 months. And yet, in my first 2 months on the floor at the time of Pima County Adult Detention Center, I've already received a letter of commendation for professionalism and efficiency while in performance of my duties. I also graduated from the Pima County Sheriff Department Corrections Officer Academy with a 93.2% GPA and top in the class in physical fitness and defensive tactics. He is very good at defensive tactics. He will not take accountability for anything. So he is very good at being defensive. We can all agree with that. So, I mean, in 93.2, buddy, I mean like you're A minus material, okay? That's A minus range. All right. I'm not going to read his deposition. I'm not. I'm probably going to be wrapping this up soon because I've been talking for an hour and a half and I'm over it because talking about him literally gives me a headache. Um, where is, oh, wait, nope. I want to find, okay, that's that. But I want to find his, flapping. I'm trying to find where he, like his actual like record, which I do have. Just looking for it because I think I emailed it to somebody. Somebody wanted it. Yeah, that is Paula. You're right. He did retract that because he said that it was not Alfred who was the one that was like doing hand things to himself in a vehicle. That wasn't the same guy. Oh, why can't I just find it? It was like the second thing that I found. Last time I looked, it was like the second thing I found. Oh man. Oh my goodness. Complete slander to who I had. Oh, hi, Kat. Welcome in. I'm actually wearing their shirt right now. Patriot Pride official today. hmm I'm trying to find it. Sorry, it's just being in Illinois. We'll get there. Don't even worry about it. Just talk amongst yourselves. Just talk amongst yourselves. I did win that. Yes, this is the one that I won. Yep. It came, oh, you guys, on my live yesterday I showed, but it came in a cute box and it had red, white, and blue tissue paper on top of the shirt. It was adorable, and it came with like a hand, like a letter, and it was like hand signed and a cute little card, and it was adorable. The packaging was adorable. And the shirt is actually like super good quality. It's not like one of those like you're gonna wash it and it's gonna shrink. Like it's actually soft cotton. It's a bold move cotton. I would never. Oh, I think you're talking to somebody in the chat. I was like, I would never say that Alex slandered anybody, because whatever he posted is an actual record for somebody who did hand things to themselves. I'm going, I'm delirious. It'll be okay. We'll figure it out. We're in this together. We're all in this together. All right, I'm gonna give it like one more good old college 93.2% Nanos college try here to find this stupid thing. It does. It says freedom on the back. Nanos knows math? Not really. I don't know if you guys can hear, but my husband is having a fight with his Lego, with my son's Legos in the kitchen right now. He is indeed. He is indeed. Sorry, guys. I really am getting to it. Bear with me. Sheriff is pathetic. Yeah, I mean, it's this Lego set was bought off of Amazon, and it was just one of those like off-brand, like not like Lego, not Lego sets. And there's like it's this huge plane, you guys. Like it's like this long. It's like super I think it's like 3 feet long. It's probably like close to 2 feet wide. It's huge. And because it is off-brand, it just doesn't want to go together in places that it's supposed to be going together. So it's this whole thing. I think we've taken it apart and tried to put it back together. Like, found it. We did it. Now, how do I get back on the screen? Because I got kicked out of my StreamYard on my computer. Why did I get kicked out of my StreamYard? Oh, I didn't. I didn't. I didn't. I lied. I lied to everybody. Yes, I did. I didn't lie. Mm. Hello, April. Hi, Limo. Dark Knight D. Sheila, Angel Eyes. Uh, whoever else is still in here, but that's as far as I could go back up. So we're gonna go over his record and then we're gonna get the F out of here. Or at least I'm gonna get the F out of here. Bounce, bounce. You know how many people have said pretty little lies? I'm like, you what? I don't know what you're saying. I don't know what you're saying. I like you guys, I have not been in like any of the streams. I just so happened to have caught um sorry. I just happened to have caught juices last night when like all of that stuff was going down. So I have not I didn't catch any of it. Sorry. Where is this? Oh my Lanta. Technology is great when it works. You know? You know? You know what I mean? My goodness. This is how you know it's getting to that point in the stream where you're just kind of done. You're just kind of done because everything is just failing me at the moment. Not you guys, though. You guys would never let me down. Ever. Well, I guess you gotta make your own fun in this life and just try not to take myself or anybody else too damn seriously. So if I had any advice for anybody is take everything that anybody says on these platforms with a grain of salt. Uh doesn't get any better. I've just been through some shit already and I just made my channel like 3 weeks ago and it'll come your way and then it'll go away and then they'll find somebody else to make their problem. So just gotta let it blow over. Chat, Justin channel, ignore. They ignored you? Is that what you're saying? Thank you guys. Never. Yeah. You guys are phenomenal. You're the real ones. All right, technology is just being a piece of work. I'm just going to do it this way instead of trying to open like 800 freaking screens. This is so ridiculous. Do 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 do. All right. And yeah, I totally realized that that was a Christmas song, and I don't know why I did that. Why? Why the Christmas song? I'll tell you, I have a whole lot to say about Christmas. Christmas is wonderful when I was a kid, right? Like I remember it being this like glorious holiday and all these family traditions and all these things and like just doesn't hold the same amount of magic that it used to. Does anybody else feel that way? And just it's not so magical anymore. I'm trying though. Cause like when you got kids, you gotta show up and show out no matter what. So mhm. I don't know why this is not going through. Mm, I know. Sad. Holidays are money traps, right? Okay. So limo, I'm I'm not sure who you are. Um, I know I've seen you around, so please don't take this personally. But if Justin had their information, chances are he wouldn't share it with you anyways. I don't know if he has it or not, but the twins, he's not going to share their information. I don't specifically know why you want the information for Misty and Michelle, but if someone has my phone number, because there are small limited number of people that do, I wouldn't want them sharing out my personal contact information either, especially if I didn't know who they were giving it to or why they were handing it out. It's not something that I condone. It's not something I want done to me. So it's the second time that I've seen you ask for the twins information. I don't have it, and I'm not going to go tell Justin that you're mad at him because I understand why he didn't do it in the first place. So do with that what you will. But we don't, I wouldn't want anyone to share my phone number. So I understand why he's not sharing somebody else's. That's just is what it is. All right, guys. I don't know. I can't find it. Well, I found it, but for some reason I emailed it to myself and now it's like still not coming through. So I don't know what the problem is. I guess it just wasn't meant to be. It wasn't in the cards for the day. But yeah, I hope that you guys enjoyed clowning on, Sheriff Nanos as much as I did. And, I really appreciate you all being here. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. None of us have, unless they themselves. Yeah, I'm not condoning that. Did I miss anything? You guys were in the chat here. Did I miss anything? Anyone have anything urgent and important and very pertinent and I need to know it and I need to address it right now or else? Because if not, we're gonna get out of here. And Justin, I think Justin Investigates is alive. If you guys want to go over there. I skippity the shibbity. Thank you. Thank you, Dark Knight. Yeah, I'm working on it. It's interesting because I am talking to all of you guys. Obviously, you can see your chats, but it's not like having a face-to-face conversation with someone. So you gotta it's uh it's an interesting learning curve, kind of learning how to talk to yourself. I don't know how to say that, but did I hear back from my friend yet? Um, I don't know which one you're talking about, but I don't think so. And I've said it before and I'll say it again. People are either lessons or blessings. So I have people in my life, they're wonderful. I have you guys all of here, all of you guys here to support me, which I appreciate more than you know. And if there's, what just came through his El Paso record. But anyways, um all of you that are here to support me, I love and appreciate every single one of you. It is not easy. I am tired as hell. I didn't think it was going to be as daunting kind of as it is, and I'm not complaining about it because I chose to do it right. It's something I could choose not to do tomorrow if I wanted to, which is, the great part of the freedom. But people are going to come and go, and if I learn a lesson from you, then that's great. Not everybody is meant to stay in your life. Some people are in your life for a reason or a season, and I have to be okay with however that goes, because I will tell you, being on the internet, being in these chat rooms, we don't know each other, and so we don't really genuinely know who each other is as a person. We get general impressions, but if I befriend you or I'm talking to you and then I find out that, the next day you're not talking to me because of I don't even know, then that's okay. Then I guess you're just not talking to me anymore. I can't lose sleep or sweat the small shit like I used to. And yeah, I don't know. Resentments are bad for people like me. So I need to just keep it moving. I keep my side of the street clean, and by that I mean I don't do anything I wouldn't want anyone to do to me. So I move through my life with genuine honesty and integrity, and I treat people as I want to be treated. And for that, that keeps my side of the street clean. And it's also not my job to fix anybody else's problems. It's another thing I've learned in life. I'm not going over to your shit covered side of the street, and I'm not bringing a shovel to clean up your crap. I need to stay in my own lane. I can only speak from my experience that I have. And so I stay on my side of the street. I keep that shit clean, and I don't worry about other people's business. I form my own opinion, and people are able to form their own opinion about me. And if I end up being on that, shit list, hit list one day, and I'm sure at some point, everyone goes through it, then so be it. But I'll have learned a lesson from whatever that thing is going to be. So I learn lessons from all sorts of people all the time. And it's you grow from it, you learn from it. Sometimes things fall apart so better things can fall together, and it's just how it is. Thank you, April. You have 5 subs and 4 videos. Oh, Dark Knight needs subs and videos. Or, well, not videos. She needs more subs. Sorry. We probably need more videos. Oh, gosh. Cat, have a great day. Not blue, but Cat S1P8M. Doop, doop, doop. Bye, Dee. Have a good day. All right. Alrighty. Well, my little Clodies, I'm going to pop on out of here, but thank you guys for all being here. And I hope you guys got some interesting information from it. But I genuinely appreciate every single one of you. I feel blessed to even have 5 people in here at a time, let alone almost 30. And that might not be a lot for some people, but for me it is. So I just want to tell you, I genuinely, genuinely appreciate it. And I'm sure I will see you all around the chat rooms. And until then, I love you, my friends, and see you later.